Are you or a loved one disabled? Do you feel alone, lost, and confused as to how to win your Social Security case? If you're watching this video, it's probably because you have so many questions and you're desperately looking for the answers. Hi, my name is Avi Libovic, and I'm the owner at Benefits for All and the lead attorney at Avi Libovic and Associates. Over the course of my 20-year career, I've overseen the processing and screening of over 500,000 disability cases, working with the largest hospitals, neighborhood clinics, primary care physicians, and even individuals who had no access to care at all. My strategies for how to win the case have made me one of the top experts in Social Security law in the entire nation. My life and my career were going great. And then one day it all came crashing down. It started first with some abdominal pains. And before I knew it, I'd been admitted to the hospital several times and I required multiple surgeries. I found myself unable to work and disabled and in desperate need of my own benefits. I understand exactly how you feel. I was in your shoes. And I'm going to take you through the process and help you and give you everything that I know so that you can win your case. I'm recovered and I'm back at work. And I have a newfound passion for helping disabled people because I myself have been there too. Call our office today for a free screening and to see how we can help you with your Social Security case. At the same time, enjoy these videos and webinars that we've prepared to help you understand how to win your Social Security case. Hey everyone, this is Avi Libovic and you're watching another amazing webinar brought to you by Benefits for All, where we teach you how to win your Social Security disability case without having to pay the costs of an expensive attorney. I'm standing in Shenandoah Valley, Virginia. And what I'm going to show you is unbelievable. It's really unbelievable, okay? The topic for today is going to be eroding your residual functional capacity. Okay, eroding your residual functional capacity. So here I am, check this out. I'm standing in Shenandoah Valley by the natural bridge and the surrounding park over here. And the cave behind me, as you can see over here, just looks like a regular cave, right? Wrong. Okay, it says that George Washington used to come here to this cave and he would collect all of the bat poo-poo, right? All the bat poo-poo, and then he would take out from the bat poo-poo a certain chemical, which was then used to make salt pepper, and the salt pepper was an ingredient in the gunpowder. You hear that? From the bat poo-poo, excuse my language, the bat poo-poo, the bat feces, to pulling out the mineral, to using the mineral to make salt pepper, and then from the salt pepper to put it as one of the ingredients in the gunpowder. George Washington, that cave. Okay, that's an unbelievable story to me that he would come here and do that. Okay, so they said the topic today is eroding your residual functional capacity. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's first start with this cave. A cave is caused by erosion. There's something, eroding means to break it down, to chip it down, to break it away. It was a rock, and then something came and, impacted the rock a little bit, which over hundreds of years, thousands of years, in some cases millions of years, it caused the cave to be formed within the rock, right? According to the placard over there, it said there's steam. There's some type of natural steam that rises up, and it created this cave. So from within this cave, where the erosion came, right, the whole story with George Washington right there, which is amazing. So because we're talking about erosion, let's talk about erosion of your residual functional capacity to perform and engage in competitive business in the national economy. So let's do a recap for a half a second, and I want to make sure that everyone has watched already the relevant webinars relating to the 5-step sequential disability evaluation and determination. If you haven't watched those videos, if you don't have a clear understanding of what it is that you're trying to do in those 5 steps, I would recommend that you pause this video right now, you download those other ones that I just stated, you watch those, then you come back to this. It will make a lot more sense. But if you want to do it the back way, then that's okay. I know some people who eat the crust of the pizza before they eat the pizza, right? So you can eat it, flip it around. Eroding residual functional capacity. What was the review? The review was we want to know the 5 steps of disability. The first one, everyone knows it already. Are you engaged in what? Right, substantial gainful activity, right? Certain dollar amount. Are you earning money that's above that dollar amount, or are you not earning above that dollar amount, right? So that's step 1. Are you earning SGA? Step 2, do you have a severe impairment or a combination of impairment that meet or equals one of do you have a severe impairment that will last 12 or more months and or result in death? Do you have a severe impairment that will last 12 or more months and or result in death? Number 3, do you have an impairment that meet or equals, either alone or in combination, one of the listings in that book, right, of Social Security impairments we've spoken about? And then finally, the 4th step, can you return to your old job? And number 5, if you can't return to your old job, can you get any other job in the national economy? One more time, because I want you guys to have it clear, and I want to go through it without stuttering like I did a moment ago. Number 1, are you engaging in SGA? Number 2, do you have a severe impairment expect to last 12 or more months and or result in death? Number 3, does your impairment or a combination of impairments meet or equal one of the listings in the Social Security book? Number 4, with your impairment, are you able to return to your old job? Number 5, if you can't return to your old job, can you get any other job in the national economy? Okay, now that you have it down, now that I have it down, now that everyone has it down, let's just jump to steps 4 and 5. Remember, if you're able to demonstrate step 1, 2, and 3, you show that you're not earning SGA, you show that what? Number 2, you have a severe impairment lasting 12 or more months, and number 3, you show that you meet exactly, letter for letter, word for word, requirement by requirement. Watch the webinar on step 3, you'll understand what I'm saying. You understand each part and you succeed in showing the judge that you meet step 3, you win. You win. And steps 1, 2, and 3, the burden is on you to prove. Steps 4 and 5, the burden is on Social Security to prove. It shifts from you to Social Security, and Social Security at the hearing, through the vocational expert, right, and the medical expert working together, needs to show at steps 4 and 5 that yes, you can return to your old jobs. And if you can't return to your old job, they show yes, if you can't return to your old jobs, you can find another job in the national economy. Now, how do they make that decision on steps 4 and 5? Well, we've talked about before that even though you have an impairment, right, even with your impairment, they want to know what your residual functional capacity is, right? Residual means the leftover, right? Like when you take a car lease, right? And the time to return the car at the end of the lease, they say, what's the residual value of the car, right? What's the leftover after the lease payments? How much is the car worth? So residual functional capacity, even with the impairment, what are you able to do? And it basically breaks down, reference my notes, it basically breaks down into several categories. It's either a physical demands, right? We're going to go through each of these. You either have, to some extent, a mental ability, even though step 4 and 5 doesn't really apply to mental. I'm going to discuss a little bit how your mental capacity is important. It could be another type of ailment that you have. It could be related to pain or other symptoms that you have. And all those together, right, if you demonstrate them correctly through your evidence in steps 2 and 3, then by the time the VE is now trying to say, can you return back to your old job? If you can't return back to your old job, can you get another job in the economy? Well, in order for me to answer that for you, I got to look through all these medical records and determine what is your functional capacity. So let's look at the first one, right? We said your physical capacity. Even with your impairment, let's try to erode your physical capacity, which means physical. You can stand, you can walk, you can run, you can jump, you can crawl, you can pull, you can push, right? You can climb. Those are generally, you can reach, right? You can grab. Those are your general physical requirements. If the VE can show that you can still do all those, you have a residual functional capacity to still do all those, that means that you have not eroded your ability to go back to your old job, and you have not eroded your ability to get another job in the economy. However, if your medical records show on any part that you are limited in your ability to push and pull and swing and climb and crawl and run and jump and stand, if your medical records show that, then you know what? You've done a terrific job in eroding your functional capacity. I cannot work at my old job because my medical records show I cannot walk, I cannot stand, I cannot pull, I cannot push, you getting the point? I cannot go back to my old job, and I can't even get another job in the economy based on my skills because I cannot, jump, and I cannot run, and I cannot sit. So you have to erode. In steps 4 and 5, you need to erode your ability, your functional capacity, ability to do physical things. Once you've eroded it, the VE is going to now have a very difficult time trying to say, oh, shucks, I was so sure he or she could have gone back to that other job. But now that I see that he was successful in pointing out the medical records where his ability to run or jump or climb or this, that was eroded, I can't get the job for him anymore. Shucks, I'm gonna have to move to step 5. Oh, he showed me everything is eroded. I can't find any jobs for him. If they can't get you to return to your old job, step 4. And if you can't get another job in the economy, step 5, you know what happens? You win your case. You win your case. So that's what you need to do. I want you to understand this. These are one of the very important webinars where now you're getting into the attorney practitioner tips for the layperson, right? On how to demonstrate step 4 and 5, how to attack your vocational expert VE, how to erode your physical capacity to do certain things, resulting in what? The VE testifying that on steps 4 and 5, they cannot demonstrate it and you win. That's very complex, what I said. Not that I'm a complex person, but it's complex if you're hearing it for the first time. Steps 4 and 5, the job of the VE is to show the judge that either A, you can go back to your old job, or B, even if you can't go back to your old job, you still can't get anything in the national economy. If the VE can show that using your medical records, you lose. They win SSA and you lose. No benefits. On the other hand, if you go ahead and you can show that you have an erosion of your physical residual capacity to do certain things, you can't run and you can't jump and you can't pull and you can't climb and you can't, sit. Then when the VE tries to take your skill set and the VE tries to A, either get you go back to your old job, or B, if you can't go back to your old job, gets you to go and find another job in the national economy. If the VE is now stuck with your medical records that show that you can't do these things, then what happens? You win. They lose and you win. Before, they won and you lost. Now you win and they lose. So what's the turnaround? The turnaround all has to do with the medical records. Either your doctors are working with you, they're not lying, they're doing a proper examination and they're coming proper objective medical conclusions to articulate, to write out, to be clear how your, just like the cave behind me, how your functional capacity has eroded to almost nothing. Then if your doctors are doing that, then your VE is going to be stuck at steps 4 and 5 and you're going to win. Your VE will not be able to show you're able to return to your old job, will not be able to show that you can go to another job, and you win because you eroded, like the cave behind me, you eroded your residual functional capacity. However, it would be so unfortunate if you made it this far to get your day in court, you're already a year and a half into the process, and you try to go ahead and get to steps 4 and 5, and you know what happens? The VE rips you apart. You know why they rip you apart? Because you didn't have the medical records to establish that your capabilities were eroded. And because you did not erode your capabilities, they could find you a job at step 4, you could find another job at step 5, and you lose. Okay, with that said, 1 or 2 little points and we're going to move forward, call it a day. The first point is that when it comes to past relevant work history, I want you to remember they can go back 15 years, okay? So you have to be prepared that whatever jobs you had in the last 15, some people had one job their whole career, so they only need to deal with one job. Other people might have had, 5 jobs, and each job may have a different skill set. So you have to be prepared to understand what each of those jobs were, the titles. Remember, we did this in a thing, what each of the jobs were. You then have to go ahead and you have to look up that job title in the DOT, right? The Dictionary of Occupational Titles, we talked about that. You need to look at the skill set that the DOT requires for your jobs that you've had in the last 15 years. You need to see that in the DOT, if it says the following, the following is required, the ability to run or jump or pull or push or lift or carry. If the DOT says you need it, then now you understand the direction that you need to work with your doctors, because you need to erode whatever skills were needed for job 1, you need to erode whatever skills were needed for job 2, you need to erode whatever skills were needed for job 3, 4, and 5. And how are you going to do that? You're only going to do that with medical records. It all comes together now. See, usually the patient just goes for the treatment, and then when they get stuck, they come back to the attorney, and then it's already too late, because they come to the attorney too late. But now, since you've downloaded this webinar from the beginning, and we're working together from the beginning, you understand that you are like the guy in the jungle with the machete who's paving the way. You understand the direction of where you need to go. You don't feel well, right? You're not earning SGA, you're not working. You have a severe impairment expected to last 12 or more months, right? And because of that, you think you're disabled, you submit an application. But you know that you have to show it's 12 or more months. And you have to show why your impairment is causing you not to have the capabilities and the skills to move forward on your thing. So now you know that when you start going to the doctor, even in the application level, right, in the first 4 months, 6 months, when everything is starting, when you are going to the doctor now, you understand, because you know what your jobs were in the last 15 years. You know what skill sets they are because you've looked them up in the dot. You know all of the physical capacity requirements that you need to have in order to complete the job, whether it be a security guard, or whether it be a stock boy, or whether it be a nurse, or whether it be, you know, a doctor. You know what the physical requirements are. And now you work with your doctors or your specialists to undergo the proper examinations, take the necessary x-rays, to go through the necessary therapy, so that way you can have written documentation to show that all of your physical capacity to do all of those things and tasks that are outlined in the dot are so severe that you cannot do them. That's very important what I said. Because you know your destination, you now have the ability to work with your doctors to erode, like the cave behind us, to erode your skill sets for each of your past relevant jobs, so that you can go ahead and you can demonstrate to the VE that you cannot return to your old job and you cannot get any other job in the national economy. You do that, you win. You don't do that, you lose. So it isn't just about establishing it at the hearing. You need to start working it already now after the application as you're what? As you're going to your doctor appointments. That's why you need to go to the doctor appointments. It's not just because Avi Leibovich is telling you on the webinar, you need to go to the doctor, you need to go to the doctor, hello, you need to go to the doctor. It's not just because I need to show the judge that you have a condition. That's just the first part. The bigger part is, because everyone can have a condition. There's a lot of people who work every single day and they have a lot of medical conditions, right? People have back pains, they go to work. People have diabetes, they go to work. People have depression, they go to work. Tons of people, they have a shortness of breath, they go to work. People have tons and tons and tons of problems, but they go to work. So your job is not just to show an impairment or a medical problem. Your job is to show that because of that medical problem, because of that impairment, you've eroded all of your ability to function in a competitive job market in the job that you used to have or in another job. So now you understand how you have to go from point A to point B. All right? I want you to take the time to just close the video for a little bit, the webinar. Go for a walk, calm down. I'm sure you're all excited about everything you just heard, right? But I needed your mind to just settle for a little bit. And then once it's settled, you can come back and watch this webinar, because it's very, very important. And I want you to understand it. And if you watch it just, you know, rewind, replay, you're gonna get very confused. You need to take a piece of it, 15 minutes, 10 minutes at a time, or 5 minutes at a time, and then stop it and absorb that. Then another 5 minutes at a time, then stop it and absorb it and say, how did piece 2 connect with piece 1? Then another 5 minutes at a time, how does piece 3 connect with piece 2 to piece 1? Because if you don't understand the linear path that's going on over here, if you don't understand how A leads to B to C to D to all the way to the end, then you're not going to be successful by the time you get to the end. And what's my job? My job is to help you win your Social Security case. Why? So that you don't have to pay the cost that you ordinarily would have to pay for another attorney. You get to keep all that money. Okay, from the bottom of my heart, I'm Avi Leibovich. We've got a lot to do, a lot to see here in Shenandoah Valley in Virginia. Natural Bridge, come check it out. It is awesome, okay? 72 million pounds of stone. It is unbelievable. All right, Avi Leibovich, www and benefits for all. Until next time, I'll see you soon.